Record. Great. All right, so we are going to start standing today. We always start our Mindful Monday practice. Hi, Leah. So we're going to start standing. We always start the Mindful Monday practice with a breathing exercise, and today we're going to do full body breathing. And so it's just what it sounds like. To begin, we're just going to stand in mountain to get grounded. And the rest of the practice today and the meditation are all going to be revolving around the chakra system in the body. If you're not familiar with that term, chakra, it is the energy center system of the body. And so we won't dive too deep into it, but you'll get a sense of it if it's new to you. And the best way to experience the first chakra, which is at the base of the spine, is to stand in mountain pose and really feel grounded. So that's where we'll begin. Feet are under knees, knees are under hips, head is stacked on top of the spine. Just stand for a moment and just feel the ground underneath you. The color of this first energy center is a deep red, almost like a deep earthen red. This energy center is all about your foundations, your basic needs being met. Food, shelter, water, connection. Go ahead and lift now all 10 toes off the mat. Plug weight into the big toes. Plug weight into the little toes. And release all the other toes if you haven't already. Soften into the knees so that the weight is evenly distributed to those four corners of the feet. Draw pubic bone to belly button. Keep that engagement and gently roll your inner thighs in and back. You have to keep the knees in line with the ankles. So instead of letting the knees knock together to get this engagement, I want you to keep the knees lined up with the feet, toes, ankles, pubic bone to belly button, and just gently turn your femur bones or inner thighs slightly back. You should kind of feel your seat stick out behind you. And now come back and re-engage the belly, pubic bone to belly button. You can even think about zipping up pubic bone to belly button. Draw your shoulders up to your ears and glide them down your back, like you're putting your shoulder blades in your back pockets. Turn your palms forward and spread your pinkies away from your thumbs. Reach up tall through the crown of the head, tuck the chin in a little bit toward the throat, so you're kind of lengthening the back of the neck. Now return to that center engagement, pull the belly in. Try and keep the shoulders reaching back as you engage those low ribs downward. So it's kind of two, we tend to compensate. Shoulders back, we pop the belly out, right? So we want to do two things at once. Keep the belly in and draw the shoulders back. If you can, work on this engagement, not just now, but throughout the coming days. It will help you to start to feel grounded and strong. Release those engagements and just return to standing on the mat. Close your eyes for a moment and experience that deep red color of that root chakra present in your body. Now with eyes open, we'll start to do our full body breathing. Inhale as you sweep your arms overhead. Keep inhaling, send the breath down into your pelvis and extend the breath all the way up. You can look up if you like. And exhale to release the arms. Bring them in front of the body. Hug the front of the body. Tuck the chin in and pull the belly in. Really empty out. Inhale, start to fill the body with breath. Arms reach up. We're making all the space we can to fill up with breath. All the way down into the pelvis, top of the breath, and then exhale, hug the front of the body, tuck the chin, pull the belly in, really squeeze the air out of the body. Inhale, big full breath in, arms overhead, all the space for breath. even filling up the sides and back of the body. And exhale, hug your arms around your center and squeeze the air out. Now this time when we inhale, we're gonna come up onto tiptoes, full body breathing. So inhale, rock up onto tiptoes. Eyes will need to be open for balance. If you're wobbly, that's okay. Top of the breath, exhale slowly, lower the heels and hug the front of the body. Tuck the chin in, squeeze the air out. 2 more times like this. Inhale, as the arms come up, try and time it with the lift of the heels, filling up with breath. And slowly exhale, give yourself a hug, squeeze the air out. Last one, time the heels with the arms, filling up with breath to the very top. And slowly time the breath and the arms and the heels. Hug into your center line, squeeze all the air out, and then release to stand. We're just going to start to work now with, so standing in mountain is really the best way to activate that first chakra, sense of grounding, needs are met, safety. So now we're going to start to move the heads of the femur bone in the socket. And you can think about the socket of the hip as a bowl and the greater trochanter, which is the top of the femur bone, moving inside this bowl. It's kind of stirring the pot. In our hips, buttocks, low belly, that's where the second chakra lies. The color is orange. And the things associated with that energy center are creativity, emotion, and sexuality, intimacy, those types of things. So we're going to start to stir the pot, so to speak, with the femur bone, the head of the femur bone. Shift your weight over onto that left foot, find the 4 corners of the foot, lift your right knee up. Flex your lifted foot, spread the toes. Exteriorly rotate the right leg, and then interiorly rotate the leg. So it's almost like you're drawing a figure 8 shape with your knee. In and out. I like to keep hands on hips, kind of keeps me centered. You could try arms out to the side if you're feeling like that might help your balance. In your mind's eye, just see this big, strong head of the femur bone sort of stirring the inside of the hip socket. We tend to carry a lot of packed emotional baggage in the hips because of the location of the second chakra. It's where we feel, right? One step up from our basic needs being met, the next spot is our emotional well-being. And release, stand. Notice any difference in the right hip, right leg from the left. Shift your weight over onto that right foot now, find the 4 corners, soften the knee, and float the left knee up. Flex the foot and spread the toes. Again, hands at hips if you like, or out to the sides. Exteriorly rotate and interior rotate. Exterior and interior. Might not feel fluid at first. You might lose your balance and have to set your toes down. That's okay, just come back. And think about, it's like your nice sturdy wooden spoon stirring the inside of a bowl. Loosening up any packed baggage energetically in the hip. Not only is this doing energetic work, but I'm sure you can feel it is strengthening your stability. And release. Now stand and feel. Take your hands to your hips, moving up from that second chakra to the third chakra, which is right at the, right where the ribs come together, kind of at the base of the xiphoid process, which is that little bone right in the middle. So this is bright yellow like the sun. This is your sense of self. So the chakra system makes a lot of sense because we think about our basic needs being met, right? We have to have those met in order to be here, or we wouldn't be alive. Then the second most basic need is emotional well-being, connection, intimacy, And the creative, where it also associates with, say, painting a picture or being creative in like an artistic way, but it's also the creation of your life. And then we move up to how do we take those things and bring them to the world? So that's the third chakra. This is our sense of self and how we show up. So take the hands to the hips. If you want to spread the feet a little wider, sometimes that helps. We're going to imagine we're on the inside of a tube, and we're going to try to shine the inside of the tube with the outside of the hips. So we're going to sort of be stirring the torso. So start to shift over to the right and forward and left and back, and just find your rhythm, find your own motion. Notice where it feels like you lose contact with the inside of the tube. And you'll notice my knees are soft. I'm kind of letting them move with the fluid motion of the body. So here we're just kind of stirring the torso. You can let the chest move forward and back. If you find a spot where you tend to kind of pull away from the inside of the tube, for me it's kind of over here, you can stop and like push into that so that you make the contact with your imaginary boundary. Maybe one more complete cycle in whatever direction you chose, and then just switch directions. And you might feel like all of a sudden the spot is different, that you have a hard time making connection. Maybe you feel like you have a nice, good connection all the way around. Again, don't be afraid to let your whole torso move. The idea is that we're starting to stir into this third chakra, bright yellow. How do you come to the world? This is the ego, but not necessarily in a negative sense. It's just who you are, your beautiful individual self that you bring to the table. And then find center and stand and feel and just notice. So climbing up the chakra ladder. Now the next chakra, fourth chakra, is the heart. So we all know where that is located. It is green in color. And as you might imagine, this is all about how we share of ourselves and allow other people to share with us. So it's self-love and self for the other, or rather love for the other. Compassion, empathy. Go ahead and start to swing your arms. So you'll notice the whole spine begins to twist. You can close the eyes or have them open. Let your hands be loose. So we're now stirring the energy pot, moving up from that bright yellow self energy center into the heart. So this is always interesting to me because if you are struggling in these lower energy centers, if your needs aren't met, if your emotional self is feeling out of balance, if your sense of self is out of balance, it is very hard to allow someone to love you or to love someone else in a pure way. So we're just building this ladder up. They are in line for a reason. They came first to help us to grow into whole individuals. The color is green. Maybe you see that green. Let the shoulders get involved because this is taking the twist up behind the heart, right? So as you begin to swing the arms, let the shoulders get involved. So of course you're still moving the whole torso. The hips kind of move, but see if you can really let the shoulders get involved in the twist. Maybe start to look over the shoulder as you twist. Let the breath be smooth and even. And then slowly come to stillness. You might feel a little dizzy, especially if your eyes are closed. And then go ahead and just stand and feel. It's one of my favorite energy movers there. And now we're going to move that energy up to the fifth chakra, which is at the throat. And the color here is blue. And again, it's in order for a reason, because we need a way to express. Once we are solid in ourselves and we are ready to be loved and to give love, then we have to have an open channel to express and listen, right? The communication piece. So tuck your chin to your chest. Gently begin to roll your left shoulder to your left ear, and then come back to center and right ear to right shoulder. Pause if you like, maybe finding a fluid little half circle. Solid in the feet, breathing. This color is blue, crystal blue. Beautiful. Next time your chin comes to center, gently lift your head to stack it on top of the spine and just feel. Now this next exercise will draw that energy, climbing up the ladder still, to the intuitive center. This is located right at the center of the forehead. You might hear people talk about the third eye. It's also this particular energy center. And it is purple, or there's some variation on how people talk about the color here, but I think of it as indigo or purple. And we're just going to take the hands and cup the eyes. So you're not pushing your palms into your eyeballs, you're actually just cupping your eyes. And what this is doing, although we've had our eyes closed some, this is really blocking out any opportunity to open the eyes and asking us to just settle into a moment of trust to our inner wisdom. So we're often really tied to our senses to navigate through a day, to keep us safe, to help us make decisions. And just closing off any visual information can help you to tune into the inner knowing, the intuition, the dream state, the higher wisdom, the inner voice. And then just release your hands down to your sides. You'll feel the light coming back in. Now moving up to the crown chakra. So once we have all these kind of lower chakras lined up and we're in touch with those energies, we can then begin to trust our inner guide, right? So that's our third eye. That's where we tune into a little bit more ethereal energy and wisdom. And then the crown chakra then draws us up to our connection to all that is. This is the 1,000-petal lotus in yoga, and it is not only the rainbow of colors, but it is also pure white light. And this is what connects us to all that is. You can choose what to name that yourself. It doesn't really matter because it's just the connection to the magic of being here, being alive. Interlace your fingers and place them on top of the head. Keep your hips forward and twist to the right. Open your eyes and look back toward your right elbow. Really press your hands down onto the crown of the head. And then slowly come back to center. Keep your hands where they are. Keep your hips face forward and twist your left shoulder back. Look out of the left corner of your eye and feel the warmth of your hands on the crown of the head. Come back to center. Release your hands and notice how you can still feel the presence of your hands on the crown of the head. As we release, sort of restarting that energy center to connect us to all that is. Just feel. Excellent. From the top of the mat, we'll begin to move through our essentials practice. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead, palms touch, reach up, look up. Exhale, dive forward, hinge from the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine, lift the belly, lengthen the back of the neck. Exhale, fingertips to the mat, right foot steps back. Left knee is directly over left ankle, left hip draws back in space. Lift your belly. Draw the chest forward. Inhale. Exhale. Bend your back knee. Step forward and fold. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale to bow deep. Knees can be soft. Soften even more into the knees. Root down through the feet. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Palms touch. Reach up, look up. Exhale, swan dive down. Hinge from the hips. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Halfway lift. Exhale, fingertips to the mat. Left foot shoots back. Right knee over right ankle. Right hip draws back. Belly pulls in. Chest forward. Breathe here. Inhale. Exhale. Step forward and fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, bow deep. Soften the knees. Inhale, big sweep to the top. Palms touch. Reach up. Look up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale to halfway lengthen. Exhale, hands to the mat. Right foot steps back. Inhale, airplane wings. Big open heart. Exhale, arms forward, shoulders over the hips. Inhale, strong reach up. Exhale, settle here. Big breath. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step forward and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow deep. Soften the knees. Inhale, big sweep to the top. Palms touch, reach up, look up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, halfway lengthen. Exhale, fingertips to the mat. Left foot shoots back. Inhale to airplane wings. Exhale, arms forward, shoulders over hips. Inhale, reach up high. Exhale, settle in. Big breath. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step forward and fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to bow. Soften the knees. Inhale, big sweep to the top. Palms touch, reach up, look up. Exhale, swan dive down. Plant your hands on the mat, walk back to find your downward facing dog. Bring extra weight to your thumb and index finger, claw with all 10 fingers, almost enough that the knuckles bend a little bit. I call these handstand hands. They're really strong. Broaden the shoulders, release the neck, soften the knees if they need it, and lengthen the spine. Inhale, shift forward to the top of a push-up. Lower your knees, release your feet, bend your elbows, lower all the way to the mat. Hands next to ribs, squeeze the inner thighs, press into the top of the feet, peel up, find your cobra. Exhale, lower. Shift back, child's pose. Make sure your big toes are touching. Knees can be close together or wide. Find a shape that works for you to take a couple breaths. Begin to shift forward, hands and knees. Tuck toes, lift hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale, shift forward to the top of a push-up. This time you can lower your way. If you want a chaturanga without the knees, go for it, or let the knees to the mat and lower all the way down. Hands next to ribs, squeeze the elbows in toward the body, press the feet firmly into the mat and lift the chest. Make space between your earlobes and your shoulders. Big breath and release. Child's pose. Come forward, hands and knees, tuck toes, lift hips. Big breath in. Exhale, shift forward to the top of a push-up. Lower your way, all the way to the mat. Lift to your cobra when you arrive. Release. Shift back, child's pose. Come to all fours. We'll cat-cow, hands under shoulders. You can choose if you like to tuck your toes. I'm going to tuck my toes today, but you can leave your feet flat on the mat if you prefer. Inhale, lift your chest and sits bones toward the ceiling. Exhale, round the back, tuck the chin in, draw the belly in toward the spine. Inhale, lift the chest and tail. Exhale, round the back. Inhale, lift the chest and tail. Exhale, round the back, empty the lungs. Stay in your cat spine, and then lift the knees to carry back, downward facing dog. Adjust as needed. We're going to tiptoe to the top of the mat. If you've been working on your hop, go for it. You can step in a couple big steps or tiptoe little steps to the top of the mat. Bend your knees, release your head, grab opposite elbows. Lift the pelvic floor. This might start to straighten the legs a bit. Really release the crown of the head and jaw. Breathe here. Do you have any movement that wants to happen in the neck and head? Go for it. Release the arms, bend the knees. Inhale, big sweep to the top. Palms touch, reach up, look up. Exhale, hands rest at the center of the chest. Side bending posture, step your feet wider than hips. Right hand, right hip. Left arm out to the side, palm facing the ceiling. Take a big breath in. Exhale as you reach up long through the left side of the body. Anchor through your left foot as you reach over, keeping the body aligned as if you're between two panes of glass. Slowly come back to center. Switch sides. Left hand, left hip, right arm out, palm faces the ceiling. Take a big breath in. Exhale as you reach up and come over. Really anchor through your right foot, finding a nice long side bend that works in your body. And come back to center. Step your feet under hips, hands to the low back. Thumbs point in, fingers can point up if you're working on that. We're going to take a standing back bend. Begin to draw the shoulders together. So squeeze those shoulder blades tight together. Begin to lift the sternum. So right at that third chakra, the big bright yellow chakra right at the sternum, or just where the ribs come together. Lift from there. And then open the sternum, then open the heart, then lift the chin, then lift the nose. And stay here in your standing back bend, or shift your hips forward so the whole pelvis moves forward and arc back more. Maybe one day the wall behind you becomes visible. Slowly come up, hands to hips, forward fold. Go ahead and bend your left knee now and keep your right leg long and walk your hands to the left just a little bit. Left knee bent, right leg long, walk your hands over to the left. Release your head. And then come back to center. Straighten both legs and then just switch. Bend your right knee, left leg long, and walk your hands off to the right. Breathe and release the tension in the neck. Come back to center. Take a halfway lift. Bring your hands to your shins and lengthen the spine. Lengthen the back of the neck. Walk your hands now to your hips. Use your core strength to hinge up, to stand. Take your arms out, shoulder height, shoulder width. Spread the fingers. Shoulders are in the sockets. Come on up to tiptoes. Eyes wide open. All these balancing postures require a focal point. If you're working on balancing with eyes closed, good for you. It's very hard. Stay here if you like, or with heels lifted, start to slide your shoulders and hips down an imaginary wall. Maybe it's just a bit challenging the quadriceps. Maybe you come all the way down so that the hips are floating just above the heels, still active. Lift those heels if you're down. Press firm, keep the heels lifted, engage those legs and press up to stand, tiptoes. Awesome. Release the heels, hands to prayer, bend the knees, sink the hips. Inhale, lift the elbows, exhale, twist, left elbow outside of the right knee, left hip draws back, palms press, lengthen the spine. Gaze at your fingertips or up over your shoulder. Use the breath. Come back to center. Exhale, go the other way. Right elbow outside the left knee, right knee draws back, palms press, lengthen the spine. Inhale back to center, exhale, bow. Inhale, long spine. We'll hinge up again, so go ahead and take hands to the hips. The knees can be soft, and just use your core to lift the torso. So it's important, we need to be able to come up rolling. We also need to be able to lift the torso with the strength of the belly. There's lots of different ways in which we want the body to move, so we have to practice them all. Coming right into a balance, left foot takes the weight, right foot, kickstand, calf, or inner thigh. Coming into tree. So it helps to spread the toes of the standing foot, find those four corners, and any are fine. We're looking for exterior rotation. We worked on that in that hip warm up. You could take calf, you could reach down for the foot and plant it on the inner thigh. I want you to think about foot and thigh pressing together, or foot and calf, or even foot and ankle. So there's muscle energy between the foot and the standing leg. Hands come to prayer. Line your wrists up with your elbows at first. So rather than up here, down here, creating the framework with the shoulders. Little variation today. We sometimes take our branches wide, wide V. We're going to keep the palms pressing and bring the arms overhead so that the biceps are by the ears. Pull the belly in, press the palms. I like to hook my thumbs, eyes in one spot. Slowly release the arms and release the right leg. Switching sides, spread your toes. Left, or your right big toe ball can anchor, and then find the other 3 points of anchor. And then find your left kickstand, calf, or thigh. Once you have your foot where you want it, never on the knee, either below or above, press the foot and standing leg together. So see if you can feel your muscles of your standing leg turn on with the sole of the foot or the heel of the foot. Now hands to prayer. Line your wrists up with your elbows. Create that nice strong framework. Eyes in one spot. Go ahead and take the palms straight up overhead. Biceps by the ears. Maybe hook your thumbs. And then release. Beautiful. So standing now at the top of the mat. Inhale, take the arms overhead, and exhale, bow in. Inhale to halfway lengthen. Exhale, hands to the mat, walk your feet back, find your downward facing dog. Pause just a moment in your dog, find all of your alignments, release any tension in the neck or jaw, really strong hands. Make sure your index finger ball is in touch with the mat. So find your index finger, find the ball of the finger, and try and drive it down into the mat. Awesome. Inhale, come to that high plank position, and exhale your way. Use your knees if you prefer. Coming right into our back strengthening work here. Rest on your chin and take your arms out in the shape of a T. Engage your inner thighs and press the top of the feet into the mat. Press your palms and lift your chest. Come to fingertips and find a higher lift of the chest. Lift the hands, thumbs point up, spread your pinkies away from your thumbs. Keep pressing into the top of the feet, lengthen the back of the neck. And release. Look over your right shoulder, arms long by your sides, big toes touch and heels are soft. Let everything go, let the breath be full. Come back to your chin, arms out like a T. This time we'll add the legs, press, draw the legs together and press the top of the feet down. You should almost feel your knees lift. That's how much engagement is there. Press into your palms, bend the elbows, come to fingertips, lift, get some height. See if you can maintain some of that height and float the hands. And now lift the legs. So rather than lifting up toward the ceiling, think lifting back toward the wall. So toes back, fingertips back. And release. Take a cheek opposite side, arms long next to you, toes touch, heels soften. Breathe. Let the dust settle. Come back to your chin. We'll take a ridge top cobra today. Bend your elbows. So you're on your chin, your arms kind of look like a goalpost. Lift the elbows. Move to your fingertips. This is great for strengthening your hands. So your fingers should be kind of out. If you have long fingernails, it makes it a little harder, but your fingers are spread wide to support, and then press into the fingertips to peel the heart up. You're looking for a lift that draws the shoulders back, chest forward, so you have kind of a ridge across your upper back. Press into the top of the feet. Breathe here. One more breath. And release. Look over your right shoulder. Let it go. We'll take 2 sets of bow pulling pose. Come to your chin, bend your knees, reach back for your feet. So when you reach for your feet, you can't hold both of them, that's fine. You're just gonna grab one, opposite leg long, opposite arm long. So when we lift, it will look like this. If you have both feet, draw the thighs together. Get a good grip on the foot or feet. When you're ready, press your thighs down. So see if you can activate the feeling of thighs and pelvis down. And then feet back. Lift up. If you're just holding one foot, just lift up. Lengthen the back of the neck. And release. Take a cheek, let it go. Catch your breath. These are some of the most important postures, I believe, in the yoga practice, these back strengtheners. And the reason is because we do lots of other things, but we don't really back bend unless we're in yoga or gymnastics or something intentional. We got to keep moving in all directions so we can keep moving in all directions. Go ahead and come back to your chin. Go ahead and bend your knees. Reach for your feet. So this time, if you took one foot, you're going to go for the opposite foot. Extend the opposite arm and leg. Activate thighs down. Can you try and press the pelvis and thighs toward the floor? When you're ready, press the feet straight back and lift. Good grip helps because you're feeling secure. If you have a nice strong grip, it's a little hard in this muggy weather to get a good grip. And release. Let it go, catch your breath. Notice your heart beating in your chest. Take your hands under your shoulders and shift back to hands and knees. So moving through a couple cat-cow just to kind of work the spine in the opposite direction. We'll start by lifting the chest. You could tuck the toes if you like. Lift the tail. Exhale, round the back. I want you to pause here. Even if you take an inhale and exhale, pause in your cat spine. And then inhale, chest and tail. Exhale, cat spine, and pause for an extra breath. When you're ready, release from that, release the toes, and find your downward facing dog. We're just gonna walk out the knees. So walk the dog, you'll hear some teachers say. So just be really mindful about the movement. See if you can let it feel really good, bending one knee and then the other. Trusting your arms and hands to hold you while you move the legs. Breathing nice and full. Now go ahead and walk your feet forward. Again, if you're hopping, feel free to practice your hop or just tiptoe forward. Soften the knees, grab opposite elbows, draw the chin in, and let your body hang forward. Engage the pelvic floor and lift. You'll notice that lengthens the legs. Now release your neck and jaw. Take your hands to your shins to lift your torso halfway. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the mat. Right foot steps back. Spin your back foot flat to a warrior two. For some reason, I keep getting my warriors mixed up this past couple of weeks. I haven't been doing enough of them. Warrior two, so that your back foot is parallel to the back of the mat. Your left knee is right over your left ankle. The right arm reaches forward, up, and back. So you grow into the warrior pose. Sink your hips, open your knee out to the pinky edge, draw your belly in, you're firm in your core, and you're reaching in opposite directions. Lengthen the back of the neck and let your nose point to your left middle finger. Even out the breath. Flip your palm so it faces the ceiling. Shift your weight forward into your left heel, and then take your right hand to the back thigh. Keep the weight gently forward as you reach up with the left fingertips. And now shift your gaze down to your right foot. Breathe here. Keep sending weight into the heel. It's almost like you're standing in sand. You don't want your knee to be forward of the ankle, but it tends to lose its bend if you don't keep a little weight shifting forward. So there's forward in the legs, reaching back in the upper body. I find it's helpful to look down at the back foot to keep this a side bend. Open up warrior two, release from the pose. Straighten your left leg, release those quadriceps, and we'll come into triangle pose. Again, reach forward, but you're hinging from the hip shift back, reach, and tip. So maybe it's just fingertips gently to the shin. Make sure you're not hyperextending the left leg. If you feel like you have a little more space, you could come down to block or a mat, fingertips in front of the left leg. Lengthen in all directions when you get here and look up at the top thumb if it feels available in the neck. Draw your left sits bone back. Even out the breath. Begin to bend your left knee. Pausing in the warrior two for a moment. And then take your hands down to the mat, lift your back heel, step forward and fold. Just notice the different sides of the body. It's always amazing to me how different they feel after a one-sided series like that. Inhale, hands to the shins, lift your torso, big breath. Exhale, hands to the mat, left foot steps back, spin it flat, pinky edge parallel to the back of the mat. Bend your right knee, it's right over your right ankle. Left arm reaches forward and lifts you into your warrior. I like to really experience that coming up. Feels very powerful. Reaching in opposite directions, gaze falls on your right middle finger. Engage your center. Lift the pelvic floor, belly in. Always opportunity to strengthen there. Open your knee up to the pinky edge if it's collapsing inward toward your big toe. Exterior rotation, sink in. Flip your front palm, gently reach forward. It's like you're serving up a tray. Backhand to your back thigh, reach up, and then shift your gaze to your back foot. Send weight into your right heel. Balance yourself out by shifting leg intention forward, upper body back. Warrior two. Straighten your right leg. Reach forward, shift the hips back so you'll start to feel that right hip crease deepen. Reach with your fingertips and tip in. So this is fine if your fingertips just gently rest on your shin, or you could bring your fingertips down to the mat, or a block is sometimes useful here. Make sure that right knee has some subtleness. There's no hyperextension. You're not relying on that right knee joint. Lengthen in all directions. Right sits bone draws back. Lengthen the neck. Maybe turn and look up. Always active in the hands. Bend your right knee. Come on up to warrior two. Pausing in your strength. Hands to the mat. Frame your front foot. Lift your back heel. Step forward and fold. Grab opposite elbows. Soften the knees. Give yourself this moment. Forward fold coming into that center energy line. Now we'll take a little challenge. Release your elbows when you're ready and pop your heels up. Sink your hips. So this is called ball of yarn. I have a friend who raises sheep and she is always knitting. And so I call this Kristen's pose, ball of yarn. Hug your knees. See if you can maintain your balance. Little ball of yarn. Keep your eyes out in front of you. I like to look at the floor, but out in front. Lift the heels. If you're shaky, wobbly, join the club. And then from here, you can use your hands next to you, or you can reach out in front of you to find your seat on the mat. So that just takes a little bit of faith that it's there, right? Once you find yourself on your seat, knees bent, sit up tall, reach forward, and lower yourself all the way to the mat. Take your time. Core engagement all the way to the earth. Bend your knees. Send your toes straight up toward the ceiling. Next inhale, lift your head and shoulders off the mat. You're reaching past your thighs. Spread the thumb and fingers away from each other. Belly down. Stay here or lower the legs a third of the way if you want a little more work. Lift the chin. That will help you to not use as much tension in the neck and face, just a little lift of the chin. And then toes up, release head and shoulders, hug the knees, and rock side to side. Give yourself a little moment of rocking. It sort of feels like a little massage for the back. If you get that little rocking motion, knees can be wide. Second set of that little core engagement, knees in, toes up, zip the legs together. So they're not loosely kind of hanging out, reaching up. They're really engaged. Point the toes, maybe even your big toe balls are touching. Zip up the inner thighs. Next breath, inhale, head and shoulders lift. Reach through the fingertips. Stay here if you like, or lower the legs a third of the way. Lift your chin a little, look up, eyes wide open. And then toes up, head and shoulders down, hug the knees, and side to side rock. Hug both knees in, and then extend your left leg long. Keep hugging your right thigh into the right side of your torso. You can lower the heel to the mat. It's not about core work as much as it is about the contact between the right thigh and the right side of the abdomen. So it's actually a Chinese medicine technique. One of the things they do in Chinese medicine is that they restrict blood flow to an area of the body and then release the compression so that it sort of resets. It's almost like turning off your computer and turning it back on. So that's our intention here. We're compressing the right side of the torso, all those essential organs there, all the little capillaries. Now we'll go ahead and release. Point your right leg up, flex the foot, and lower the leg to the mat, nice and slow. Good control. Try and keep both hips touching, belly engaged. Awesome. Give yourself just a moment of pause. And then hug the knees in. Extend your right leg back to the mat. Interlace your fingers on top of your left leg. Pull the thigh in tight. Intention to create compression between the left thigh and the left side of the essential organs in the torso. It's great for digestion. We kind of reset the ascending colon on the right. We reset the descending colon on the left. Pull it in tight, pull it in tighter. And then release. Point your left toes up to the ceiling, flex your foot, spread your toes, and lower your leg with control. Try to keep your hips even. That's the challenge. All the way to the mat. Give yourself a pause. Let everything go. Go ahead now and hug both knees in. Take your hands behind your knees and rock up to a seat. Find an easy seat, cross-legged. We'll take a twist, and then if you want to sit on something for our meditation, you certainly may. Seated twist from an easy seat. Both arms overhead, big breath. Exhale to the right, right hand behind the spine, left hand holds the knee, sit up tall, and twist. Draw your right shoulder back. So you'll notice that the neck wants to take over. So just make sure the shoulder is twisting as well, because you'll feel that in your thoracic spine. The space behind the heart center is where we're looking for some sensation in the twist. The neck can go too, but see if you can get that sensation in the middle, kind of behind the shoulder blades. Gently release, sit. Both arms up, eyes wide open, big breath. Exhale, hands to the knee, left hand behind the spine. Again, shoulder opens. If the neck wants to join, great, but don't let the neck take over for the thoracic spine. It has the tendency to do that. Metaphorically, the energy center there, our communication center, will sometimes take over for authentic heart connection, right? Maybe we talk a big talk, but the heart is closed off. So here we're asking the heart center to be the focus, and the throat chakra center just to follow the heart. Slowly unwind. Sit at center. Take 3 deep breaths. If you want to find your cushion to sit on for meditation, feel free to make yourself comfortable. We have about 7 minutes for our meditation. That should be just plenty. Eyes are closed, palms are comfortable in your lap. They can rest gently on your knees. You could take palms open and take the mudra of wisdom. You'll see that's kind of the yoga seat, right? That's an option. However you are comfortable, it's important that you are. If you need to extend a leg, you could do that too. Start by imagining a beam of light that enters the top of your head by the crown chakra, seventh chakra. And that beam of light goes directly through your central channel, parallel to your spine, down to the first chakra, that root chakra, the red chakra. Mentally imagine how this light, now red, envelops the first chakra at the base of the spine. Breathe with your attention placed on the area where this first chakra is located. And imagine that the air, when inhaling and exhaling, is red. Visualize how this chakra releases the stagnating energies, how it becomes clear and moving. Now mentally move the energy to the second chakra below the navel. Cover it with an orange light, pure energy. Clean it, unlock it, allow it to move. Draw your attention now to the third chakra. Focus on the yellow color like the sunshine. Allow the intensity of the color to grow until you feel its vibration in every part of your body. Imagine you can breathe the yellow color. Fill yourself with the yellow color and feel inside you is clarity and widespread awareness that makes you strong and confident. Feel that energy completely surround you. Now bring your awareness to the fourth chakra. Breathe into the very pure light of emerald green that enters you and settles down and that expands your heart. Try to expand this light from your heart and into all beings. Become the light. Feel the energetic light spreading outward. Now focus on the fifth chakra, in the throat. Think about the color blue of the sky and the sea. This color is within you, and starting from your throat area will spread energy of truth, purity, cleanliness, tranquility. See it, feel it. It's time to focus now on the sixth chakra. This is our third eye center. Work on the vibration in a calming but powerful indigo color, the color of wisdom, knowledge, mysticism, intuition. Finally, now bring the energy to the crown, to the seventh chakra. Make the white energy spiral around this chakra. Visualize how light clears and unlocks this last energy center too, allowing you to feel connected to all that is. Now let's create some energetic magic. Let your breath proceed in its natural rhythm as you allow your body to begin to relax. When you feel that no tension hinders your relaxation, begin to visualize before you the copy of your own physical body, completely shrouded in light and energy. See before you your own image. A mix of colorful lights that slowly transforms the image of your physical body into a pure, bright figure. Pure light. Breathe in And breathe out as you watch how that energy expands inside your own body. The energy is not something you need to look for. It is something already within you. You just need to get in touch with it, to allow your energy to flow and take care of you, body and soul. Breathe in and out gently as you begin to perceive within you a growing flux of bliss. Stay with this blissful feeling. Allow yourself to be present. Begin to let the eyes open. Press the palms at the center of the chest. We'll take a deep breath in together. And exhale, bow your forehead toward your fingertips. Bring your thumbs gently to the third eye center, and together we'll bow. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for today's practice. May you carry some bliss with you for the rest of the day.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Enjoy your day.
Yeah, you too. Have a good day, Janet.
Thank you, Emily.
Thanks, Dan. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good day.